Okay, then we start. We have already done integration, scope, time, cost, the major areas we have covered. Today we are moving on with the quality management. And quality management, as we have already been talking about often time about quality. Quality, we have to look at the project quality, and naturally, quality is not only a project subject. This is an organizational subject. We look at quality from the operational and organizational point of view as well. So, your organization may have some quality standards to follow. So, whatever uh, quality policy the organization is following, probably that is going to be inherited to your project as well. But in case there is no such policy existing, still project needs to have its own quality management system, which is the responsibility of the project manager, that even in absence of any quality policy, he will set up the quality of the project by himself. But as I said, if there is a quality policy existing, some system for quality management existing in the organization, that will become the policy to follow, and project will abide by that. What is more important here in the project? There are, first of all, I have to plan. I have to plan the quality, and as I do any of the other knowledge areas, I will also develop a quality management plan, and that will be done in planning. Once we move on to execution, uh, that is where we manage the quality. In older standards or older editions of the PMBOK, it used to be called perform quality assurance. Now they have changed the name to manage quality to give it a wider perspective. But basically, in execution, what we are doing is we are ensuring that whatever is happening, is it happening correct? So we are not concerned about the product in execution. We are concerned about the process or the work or the activity. So we are talking about the project quality here. So all the processes, all the planning we have done, all the procedures we have devised, all the processes we are following, this has to be checked whether this all is being done according to the quality standard or not. That means everything I have planned in my project will be under the watchful eye of the quality assurance. Everything will be, you know, viewed, audited, checked, uh, and I'm saying only the processes. I'm not concerned about the deliverable. Deliverable is not my subject. So how the processes are being followed? Is there some written, documentation available, or everybody is doing it according to his or her own will? If everybody is doing things according to his or her own will, then there will be no consistency. And quality means consistency. We want to produce consistent results, so we have to do the process uh, in a consistent manner. So whatever is the process, it must have been properly written down in our plan. If it is not, then this is the responsibility of quality assurance or manage quality to do that. Secondly, if the processes have been documented, then are they being followed? If they are not being followed, again, it is the responsibility of quality assurance to ensure that the written, documented processes are followed as per the document. Is there any training required to the people? So you will audit the knowledge of the people and see what they lack and why are they unable to perform the things according to the procedures written down. So if at all they need some training or improvement, so that could be provided to them. Then is the work of auditing the processes which have been documented. Quality assurance is responsible for looking into those several processes and finding if there is anything to improve. First of all, is the process right or wrong? If the process is wrong, it has to be corrected. If there are any bugs, that have to be removed. If the process is all right, still quality assurance will try to find more better ways to do the same job. That is continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is also part of quality assurance that will try to further enhance and improve those processes remaining within the boundaries of the project. We do not want that any scope creep occurs. Everything we do must be within the limit of the project objectives. We cannot increase the scope of the project or time or cost of the project without any change request. So every change I bring for improvement, that must remain within the scope, time and cost objectives, as well as such change should be properly moved through change request procedure. So you must move the change request. That is how the quality is to be managed. Moreover, one more thing quality assurance will be doing is quality assurance will be providing fodder to quality control, which is happening in monitoring and control. So quality control will get its checklists and all that from quality assurance, but for all practical purposes, quality assurance is not going to touch the deliverable or check the deliverable. If any one of you thinks that quality assurance is responsible for seeing the deliverable while it is being built, then it is wrong. We have nothing to do with the deliverable. We have everything to do with the process. But we can create checklists and give it to the quality control. Quality control has everything to do with the deliverable and nothing to do with the process. So in quality control, we are going to receive all the deliverables coming from execution in whatever format they are. I'm not talking about the end product, but I'm talking about everything. Every process, every activity, every task, whatever is the output is a deliverable, and every deliverable will go to quality control, and quality control will inspect it. The first inspection on any deliverable is quality control, and it checks it for correctness. Whatever has been made, is it correct according to the specifications, according to the, especially not really the specifications, but according to the tolerance limits? Is it within the tolerance limits? Specification is rather a subject of scope, which is validation of scope is occurring after the deliverable is verified from quality. Only then we can do another inspection for scope validation, and completeness according to the specification and scope, that would be checked there. But here we are more concerned about the correctness, the threshold, whatever was set, is it within the threshold limit or not? All dimensions, all the dimensions, and all the features and functions and specifications, everything must be according to within the threshold limits. So this is, once this is checked, quality control will release the verified deliverable, and that verified deliverable will move on to the validate scope, and ultimately that can move on to closing for onward handing over to the customer. So this was brief about what happens in quality. So we, as I said, we have three processes: plan, quality management. This is not perform quality assurance anymore. This is called manage quality now, and control quality. Quality management includes the processes and activities of the performing organization that determine quality policies, if there is any quality policies being followed, objectives and responsibilities, so that the project will satisfy the needs for which it was undertaken. Quality management uses policies and procedures to implement within the project's context the organization's quality management system, if there is any. As appropriate, it supports continuous process improvement. As I said, in quality assurance, we are trying to continuously improve our processes. So this is undertaken on behalf of the performing organization. Quality management works to ensure that the project requirements, including the project requirements, are met and validated. So three processes: quality management, as I said, this is the process of identifying the quality requirements, standards for the project and its deliverable, and documenting how the project will demonstrate compliance with quality requirements. So it will have a complete design, how and when the quality assurance is to be done, and how and when quality control will be done. So quality assurance, as I said, quality assurance is no more called quality assurance here. It is called now managed quality. This is the process of auditing the quality requirements and results from quality control measurements to ensure that appropriate quality standards and operational definitions are used. In quality control, this is the monitoring and recording of results of executing the quality activities, assess performance, and recommend necessary changes, if any. Quality management addresses the management of project and the deliverable. So the management part is quality assurance and the deliverable part is quality control. It applies to all projects regardless of the nature of their deliverable. Quality measures and techniques are specific to the type of deliverable being produced. Whatever you are creating and producing, this all depends upon what kind of specifications, what kind of measures, how the quality is to be measured in that. So something is to be measured in length, and something is to be measured in some other scale. So whatever are the scales and techniques to measure, that will come from the relevant industry. Different approaches and measures could be used differently on different projects. Failure to meet quality requirements can have serious negative consequences for any or all of the project stakeholders. So this is serious. Quality, poor quality will, your product will not be acceptable. Now, what is quality? We generally think, usually when I ask my students, what is quality? I get the answer conformance to the standards. Yes, this is correct. But at the same time, this is not the complete answer. Why should anyone be complying with an international standard when he or she doesn't need it? Is it compulsory on us that we will always have to comply with international standards? What if my requirement is much greater than the international standard accepts, or much lesser than what international standard accepts? So basically, although I agree that there are international standards and they are good guide for establishing a quality limit, or your policies, and they are established accordingly, but at the same time, more important thing for me as a project manager is my customer. It is more about meeting the customer requirements. By overworking the project team may result in decreased profit. So yes, customer is important to me. Meeting the customer requirement is my main job. But at the same time, am I going to be doing everything the customer says and even suffer by extra, money spending on the project and wasting more time? So that will cause decreased profit and increased project risk, employee attrition, errors, and rework. Meeting project schedule objectives by rushing planned quality inspections may result in undetected errors. So that is the other side of the picture. If you try to do the project earlier than anticipated, you might be sacrificing some of the quality inspections, and ultimately there will some errors which will remain, and that will also result in decreased profits and increased post implementation risks. So we have to look at these negative consequences at the same time. Quality, normally we associate another term with quality, and that is grade. There is a difference between quality and grade. Can anyone help me in understanding what is the difference between quality and grade? Ji, now raise hands. Raise hands if you want to answer. Otherwise, I'll ask. Ji, Azim.
सर क्वालिटी कह सकते हैं कि to what extent it is meeting the set thresholds of different specifications,
Okay.
and the grade could be the technical classification of the technical requirements, or for example we are developing a software जो उसकी technical requirements हैं, that is probably the grade we can say.
Technical requirements. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? जी, फैसल आप ट्राई करेंगे? फैसल अब
सर ग्रेड बेसिकली जो कस्टमर की रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से जो डिलीवरेबल होता है उसके अंदर जो क्वालिटी की रिक्वायरमेंट मीट की जाती है ग्रेड होती है सर। और ग्रेड एक डिफाइन होती है सर कि ग्रेड ये इसका ग्रेड ये होगा, यानी कि ये स्पेसिफिकेशन होगी और वो कहीं भी किसी जगह भी हो वो स्पेसिफिकेशन सेम होंगी सर। स्पेसिफिकेशन की टर्म में लेके जाऊंगा इसको ग्रेड को
ओके.
सर।
ओके. स्पेसिफिकेशन की टर्म में. ठीक है. ठीक है. और एलिजा? जी एलिजा. एलिजा, आपका माइक ऑफ है, ऑन कीजिएगा और फिर बोलिएगा. जी.
So quality is how well the product meets the customer's demand, and grade is कि what features does it have. हो सकता है कि एक product है उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा features नहीं है, but जितने भी features हैं they are as per the demand of the customer. And वही product है उसकी एक और version है जिसमें बहुत ज़्यादा features हैं.
बिल्कुल.
So this is the difference in grade and quality.
वंडरफुल. वंडरफुल. बिल्कुल सही जी. ये एग्जैक्टली यही बात है. क्वालिटी जो है दैट इज, जैसे मैंने कहा कि whatever you are creating, it has certain functions and features. ये हमारा स्कोप में आता है. What are the functions and features of that deliverable, what you want created? So what are the various functions and features? ये एक चीज है. और जैसे बाकी लोगों ने भी, फैसल ने भी यही कहा, जो functions and features हैं, those describe the grade of the item. But for each function, how much is it within the tolerance limit for quality, उसके थ्रेशोल्ड कितना अंदर है, वो उसकी क्वालिटी को डिस्क्राइब करता है. सो हु इज गोइंग टू define the threshold for you is basically the customer, because we are not working for international standards, we are working for customer, and customer demands that I need this thing of this quality. So that deliverable, that function, that feature, we have to determine through negotiations and discussions with the customer that what is acceptable to him. If he is saying that this table should be 3 feet long, then uh, how is he going to measure it? What is the scale he is using? What is the level of accuracy he wants to go in? From my point of view, maybe 0.1 inch plus minus is okay. But from his point of view, 0.001 is okay. So he will reject my deliverable because it is going to be much more than his expectation. So it is beyond the tolerance limit. Therefore, quality is about the tolerance. So even the product has only one feature, the, the quality has to be met for that. You might have a mobile phone from China having hundreds of features, but none of the thresholds is being met, so it is a poor quality, high grade item. On the other hand, you might have a Nokia phone from olden times which has excellent quality but only one feature. It can get you talking on to someone. No, no other feature at all, like no internet, no camera, no this, no that. But whatever it does is of high quality. So this is high quality, low grade item. Naturally, we want to avoid low quality, low grade items. But as far as my project is concerned, this would be my wish that I should be creating high quality, high grade items, remaining within the constraints of the project. Naturally, as I said before, I do not want to do any kind of scope creep. I don't want to go beyond my limits. Therefore, I will try to have high quality and high grade within the boundaries of the project. So this is what my objective is. The next difference is between precision and accuracy. Again, I'll turn back to you and ask you, how do you describe precision and accuracy? Ji Janab. Imran, can you help me on that? Precision and accuracy. Ji Imran. जी आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी इमरान.
सर इसका यही है मैग्नीट्यूड वगैरह इंक्रीमेंट वगैरह जो होता है इसकी मेजरमेंट वगैरह जो करते हैं
जी जी.
और चेक वगैरह करते हैं फिर बाद में.
हाउ प्रिसाइज यू आर एंड हाउ एक्यूरेट यू आर, इन दोनों में क्या फर्क है? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? ओके जी, शायद इकबाल साहब. जी जनाब.
जी सर. Sir, actually, precision is about the reference is the measured values.
ओके
It all depends on your measurement, whatever you have calculated earlier,
ओके
और जो भी आपका criteria है, उसके हिसाब से आप precision measure करते हैं. And then accuracy is how close it is to your target.
Right, right. Okay, let us look at it from another angle. Can you see this diagram? If we can plot accuracy on the x-axis and precision on the y-axis, and I fire a number of bullets. If my bullets are, are generally hitting the target, but they are not close together, I am accurate, but I am not precise. But if it is not hitting the target also, and not even the bullets are not together, इसका मतलब निशाना भी अच्छा नहीं है. So bullets are not together, they're very close together. That means I am neither precise nor accurate. So closeness of the bullets is precision, and being on target is accuracy. So you can look at C, diagram C, that shows you are not hitting the target, but your bullets are very close together. That means you are a good marksman, but there is something wrong with your gun. So you are a very good marksman. If you can fix the gun, or fix the problem with the gun, then probably you will be hitting right in the bull. So you would be precise as well as accurate. Am I clear about it, Ji? जी शहरयार.
सर इसकी कोई रियल कोई प्रोजेक्ट एग्जांपल देंगे सर? रियल यूज केस, कोई रियल टाइम चीज होगी?
Okay. Very simply, if you are you are asked to do some job and you are expert in doing that job, but you are doing that, but not aligned with the right objectives. You are not actually giving the benefit which is required. Otherwise, you are doing it very well. You are writing a speech with a very good English, but that is not a relevant speech. So you are being precise, but you are not accurate, right? So it should be on target, right? If you write a bad speech, but for the right occasion, it is accurate but not precise. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions related to that? What is our target? We, just like we said that quality and grade, we want high quality, high grade. Here also, we want accuracy as well as precision. We want to be accurate, we want to be on target, and at the same time, we want to be very good marksmen as well. Okay, the basic approach is the international standards, as I said, but as I also told you that it is not all about the international standards. It is basically about the customer satisfaction, what the customer wants from you. But in case your organization has some quality management standard system set up, then what does ISO say? ISO is International Standards Organization. But what does ISO say? The first thing ISO says is that you must document your procedures. That's it. They don't give you any other guideline. They just tell you how to document what you do. Because as soon as you start documenting your things, you are becoming consistent. No matter how bad your procedures are, but once they are documented, then you would be consistently delivering same kind of quality. So you would know how good or bad you are, and then you can further improve. Improvement is continuous in nature. You can then further improve and enhance and improve your processes, and your product will also be improved and enhanced. Remember, ISO certification is for the organization, that this organization has documented rules and procedures. No product of an organization is ever ISO certified. I have seen it. There are many organizations who have sought ISO certifications, and at the same time they claim that now their products are ISO certified. That is wrong. Products cannot be ISO certified. Organizations are ISO certified. I have also seen many organizations who, just for the sake of achieving ISO, because their whole system could not be ISO certified because that is too poor. So what they do is they just get ISO certified one small office. So that office documents are put in order, and they are that only that office is ISO certified, and that organization then starts claiming that we are ISO certified, whereas they are nowhere near ISO certification. They have just bluffed the system, and they just got one department or one office ISO certified, and that too after the initial ISO certification award. They do not get themselves updated. So they just get ISO once and never get it audited again, and ultimately that is of no value at all. There are various philosophies from a very long time how the quality has evolved. It's a very long story, basically, but the sense of quality was first initiated. Is usually the problem with when we go to war. What happens is there was First World War and the Second World War. These big wars or battles or such like incidents, they bring speed to your life. the things we usually do in our normal life at the pace we do it, uh, although there is a lot of destruction in wars, but as far as the business of war is concerned, that is very focused and that is a matter of life and death, and the pace is very high. And all the able bodies from all over the world, they are inscripted into the army, and therefore all the skill is here, and they are now able to produce at a very fast pace. Now, what happens is that after the war, the high level of skill which have evolved during the war, although there was widespread destruction also, but this high level of skill has to be used somewhere. In the meanwhile, during the war, what happened was, after the Second World War, all the able-bodied men were at war, and there was scarcity of resources at home. Ladies and children were not getting enough nutrition, and their needs were not being met. As soon as the war ended and in the widespread destruction, the demand for daily life items was very high. These skilled people suddenly came back from the war and they started working on the supply. So there was a lot of opportunity for industry, and therefore high demand and supply was to meet it. When this is the situation, generally quality does not matter. Why I'm saying that? If you are hungry and you have not eaten for last 3 days and somebody offers you a bread, you will not comment on the bread that this is not good and this is not from the good shop or something like that. You are hungry, you will eat it. The matter of quality comes only when you have choice, when demand is less and supply is more. So you have an option to choose from three kinds of bread, and then you say, this is the best one for me. So customer is deciding the quality. So you determine the quality. So that's exactly what happened after the Industrial Revolution, after Second World War. Uh, the whole focus of at least North America was on the quantity, not on the quality. So once they met that, and there was abundance of resources, abundance of supplies, and demand was less, people started getting choosy. And when they started getting choosy, naturally the products which were being produced were not of good quality, and they started getting rejected. So what they did was they tried to do quality control there, just based on the customer objections. They started rejecting the items without consideration of why those mistakes are being done, and they accepted it as such that okay, this much wastage is okay with us, we can bear it. And they applied the statistical rule of 3 sigma initially, which says that 99.74% is good enough. So they said, okay, if the wastage is less than 99.74, that is bearable. And they were not imagining that 99.74 is out of 100. So in every 100, point two, point 26% was being rejected. And if the quantity is more, 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever, so this number will increase. At that time, there were people like Deming and Juran, the names are written here, Edward Deming and Juran. They were trying to propagate that quality has to be built in. Quality is more important than quantity. But in America, they were both Americans. In America, it was not understood. They did not really understand what they were saying. And Japanese, they hired these two guys, Deming and Duran. They shifted there, and there they became the fathers of modern quality. So Edward Deming came up with many theories on leadership, long-term company positions, continuous improvement, which is also called the Deming cycle: plan, do, check, and act, is basically Deming's contribution. The theory of zero defect, it was further developed by Crosby and many other people, but initially this was given by him. So Japanese followed the Deming model, and later Juran also took care of. He gave the idea of cost of quality, which was again worked upon by Crosby and others, and that's how these philosophies kept evolving. The important considerations here in quality management, especially in the project quality management, is, as I said before, is the customer satisfaction. Understanding, managing, and influencing needs so that customer expectations are met or exceeded. So we want to at least meet the customer expectations, but we want to do a little more than that, as if it is more than the little more than the satisfaction level. Second thing which is important here, जी शहरयार आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
सर ये जो पिछली स्टेटमेंट थी डिक्रीजिंग कॉस्ट ऑफ क्वालिटी इट मींस टू इंप्रूव द क्वालिटी राइट
कौन सी स्टेटमेंट जी?
सर वो पिछली स्लाइड में थी ये
ओके जी
सर डिक्रीज कॉस्ट ऑफ क्वालिटी
ओके
व्हिच
ओके
मींस लाइक इंक्रीजिंग द क्वालिटी पुटिंग मोर चेक्स राइट
राइट. डिक्रीज द कॉस्ट ऑफ क्वालिटी का मतलब ये होता है कि यू स्पेंड अप्रोप्रिएट मनी in quality. What people do is they start throwing money into quality without any consideration of what they are doing, and this is not being effectively used. So such mechanisms are required, such method is required in which the cost of quality can be kept to minimum, or it can be reduced to the most appropriate level. That is decreasing the cost of quality. Got it?
आई मीन कि सर उसमें केयरफुली स्पेंड करना है क्वालिटी पे चेक्स पे और
केयरफुली क्या कर रहे हैं?
सर जो मैं समझा हूँ मैं कि जब जो आप प्रोजेक्ट में स्पेंड करते हैं क्वालिटी पे जो कॉस्ट आती है
हाँ जी,
तो उसको केयरफुली स्पेंड करना है क्वालिटी प्रोसेस में
उसको कम से कम रखना है. उसकी वजह ये कि एक है इंटेलिजेंटली काम करना, और एक है कि जी बस आप पैसे फेंकने शुरू कर दें. क्वालिटी यू सी, अभी अगला पॉइंट आप अगर देखें, दैट इज प्रिवेंशन ओवर इंस्पेक्शन. व्हाट अमेरिकन्स वर डूइंग, they were relying on inspection, only on quality control. They did not bother about quality assurance or prevention. So they were just rejecting items. This was their quality. They were just rejecting bad items and only shipping good items to the market. Ultimately, the repo was secured, repo was saved, but at the same time, waste was too much. You see, the cost of quality of rejection is too high. But at the same time, they were able to save their name. What if, as Deming and Duran were saying, what if they could have prevented it in the first place? They could have checked their processes. They should have, you know, explained and defined their acceptance threshold of the stakeholder. Probably this could have been averted. We could have prevented these mistakes from ever happening. So prevention, it was later found, it was later, inducted into the systems that prevention is better than cure. Prevention was given more importance over inspection, but again, as I was saying, decreasing the cost of quality. So prevention and inspection, or for that matter, quality assurance and quality control, both have to be balanced. You can't say that now we are uh, preventing everything and we are very good at quality assurance, so there is no need for quality control. What will happen if you do that? If you do that, then probably you will prevent a lot many things. But because you do not have a check at the end, so any one mistake goes out into the market, that spoils your name in 1 minute. Therefore, we can't avoid the quality control. Quality control has to be there to inspect the deliverable and ensure that anything which is a faulty part or faulty product should not be sent out, should be stopped. But at the same time, if I can improve my processes and prevent bad things happening during the project, then probably my rejections at the point of quality control will be very low. But still, I will have quality control. So I still will be spending some money on quality control and some money on quality assurance. This delicate balance, how much money to be spent where, is to be established, and that is called decreasing the cost of quality. And the last point is cost of quality, that is decreasing the cost of quality. Then management responsibility. Probably I had been saying this earlier as well, that quality and risk, there are two things which should be directly owned by the management or the top level executives. You can't leave it to your employees. You must be committed. You must be committed to quality and risk. Because no matter how qualified person you hire under you, but until and unless you are interested yourself, that person can't do nothing. He may advise you and you may not listen to him because you don't give much importance to quality, but he is crying about quality. He is always coming up with suggestions and you are always rejecting them because you are not literate about quality. You are not committed about quality. Therefore, management responsibility. Success requires participation of all members of the team, but it is the responsibility of management to provide resources needed. So management should at least be positive towards quality and risk. They must commit themselves. They must know and they must realize that some money will be spent here. Usually do people think that all the money being spent on quality and risk are waste of money. That is not true. There is continuous improvement, as I said, Deming cycle. Every process, anything we do in this world, anything, every process we do is basically planned. Then we do it according to the plan. Then we check what we have done, and then we correct the mistake, and then we again replan. So this cycle continues forever. This is the cycle of continuous improvement. It is not about project. This is about operations. But you have seen that the same cycle is applied to project management as well. How? Although we know there is a starting point and there is a finishing point in project, still when you enter into the project, you are involved in this cycle of plan, do, check, and act. You after initiation, you are doing planning, then you are doing execution, that is doing, and check means monitoring and control. So as a result of monitoring and control, certain change requests will be applied and your plan will be changed. And you will keep doing that until and unless your project objectives are met. And as soon as your project objectives are met, you exit from the project. Because we are not here to continuously improve forever. We are here in projects just for delivering the product according to required specifications. So once we are ready to deliver, we do not need to enhance or improve it any further. Because if we do that, we will exceed the scope. And exceeding the scope is called scope creep, which is not allowed. So customer satisfaction is prime to us. Understanding, evaluating, defining, and managing requirements so that customer expectations are met. This requires a combination of conformance to requirements and fitness for use. So this is what it is. Here the whole thing joins hands. Conformance to requirements, that is in accordance with the requirements. to ensure the project produces what it was created to produce. So whatever functionality customer wanted out of it should be provided. And secondly, it must be fit for use. The product or service needs to satisfy the real needs. That is about the tolerance. Exact the customer satisfaction would be achieved when you have conformance to the requirements and fitness for use. So this is just not the conformance with the standards. It is conformance with the requirements given by the stakeholder. So thus fulfilling the need. Quality should be planned, designed, and built into, not inspected into. This is a very famous saying. Quality should be built in, not inspected in. Inspected in mindset is the quality control mindset that do whatever you want, no prevention measures, but we are checking at the end, so don't worry. So this is the inspect mindset. The built-in mindset is that we will do the quality assurance and naturally the errors or defects would go low, but still we said quality control is necessary. The cost of preventive mistakes is generally much less than cost of correcting mistakes. I hope you understand this point. Cost of preventive mistake meaning what? If some damage has occurred, then that damage has to be paid for, right? So it will cost a lot of money. But when I can avoid that damage from happening at a small cost, that damage will not occur. So ultimately, at a smaller cost, I can prevent that mistake. And if I don't, then this is I'm going to be losing a lot of money. Planned do, check and act cycle is the basis for quality improvement as defined by Shewhart and modified by Deming. Quality improvement initiatives could improve the quality of project management as well as the quality of project's product. And for that, a number of terms you might have heard, rather they are whole fields of quality by themselves. Total quality management, a very old concept now. Total quality management is all about not only the quality of the product, but quality of everything in the organization. The organization which is producing a product must itself be of a good quality, right? So everything in the organization, its own working processes, its location, whatever, it should be precise. Six Sigma is what Americans learned from Japanese. Japanese used to have such a good quality that Americans who were basically laughing over them started thinking why our products are not selling and why are Japanese products selling better. So they learned that Japanese zero defect syndrome, that they do not accept, as Americans were ready to accept 99.74% accuracy. But Japanese were saying zero defect. We can't afford a single defect. And the result was that their quality was improving. Therefore, Americans were forced to think that what is wrong in their calculation. So they found out that the probability goes beyond 99.74. And when they started exploring it, they found that on 3 sigma, the usual way which things are done, 3 sigma against a, a product line of 1 million products, 65,000 plus items would be rejected. The Japanese point of view was that out of 1 million, not even a single item should be rejected, thus saving a lot of money. So they were doing prevention at that level. So what Americans did was they started exploring how can we improve it. So they went from 3 sigma to 4 sigma. There was a lot of improvement. 4 to 5 sigma, even more improvement. But at 6 sigma, they came up with a magic figure 3.4. So against 1 million, They are now working on achieving 3.4 defects in a million. 3.4 defects in a million, and this is called Six Sigma. And the philosophy is basically that zero defect is not possible, and Japanese are wrong. So the nearest we can reach is 3.4. But at the same time, I should tell you that even in America, they have gone beyond Six Sigma for their special projects like, space, NASA, and all that. They are not following Six Sigma. They are following much more than Six Sigma. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they are much beyond. So that means they are almost nearing the Japanese initial thought of zero defect syndrome. Lean Six Sigma is yet another way of doing it. This Six Sigma principle is being used with a special emphasis of reducing waste. Lean means reduce waste and be more effective. Continuous improvement is commonly used process improvement model, and Malcolm Bridge, they started using it, and there was they used to grade you, assess you on about your quality. For project management, PMI has an organizational project management maturity model, and for software industry and other industries, they have got a capability maturity model, which is for non-IT industry, they have integrated model, capability maturity model integrated, CMMI. So as I said, management responsibilities, success requires the participation of all members of the project team. Management retains within its responsibility for quality a related responsibility to provide suitable resources at adequate capacity. So management must commit that they will fulfill all the requirements of quality. Cost of quality, as I said before, this is the total cost of the conformance work and the non-conformance work. So it is also called cost of good quality and cost of poor quality. So conformance work, how to prevent and how to ensure that mistakes do not occur. This is the conformance work. This is the cost of good quality. We spend money on preventive measures is conformance work, our cost of good quality. And if we don't do that, and at quality control we have certain losses, our customer sues us or something like that, that is non-conformance. So that is cost of poor quality. On the first attempt to perform that work, the potential exists that some portion of the required work effort may be done or has been done incorrectly. Cost of quality work may be incurred because throughout the deliverable life cycle. I hope I had a diagram here. It will come later. I'll show you. So coming back,
सर ये नॉन
जी जी,
सर ये नॉन कन्फॉर्मेंस वर्क का सर जरा थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करेंगे.
ये भी आगे आ जाएगा, एक मिनट मैं आपको बताता हूँ. ये देख रहे हैं कॉस्ट ऑफ क्वालिटी, ये है जी कंफॉर्मेंस और नॉन कंफॉर्मेंस. कॉस्ट ऑफ कंफॉर्मेंस और कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड क्वालिटी जिसे कहते हैं, that includes two things: prevention cost and the appraisal cost. Prevention cost is build a quality product, उसके अंदर गलती ना होने पाए, give good training to the people, document your procedures, and your equipment should be properly taken care of, and do the things at the right time. So in doing so, whatever money is spent is your prevention cost. Then is the appraisal cost. You call experts from outside for testing your product, for destructive testing, inspections and all that. So you have to pay for that also. That appraisal cost is part of the cost of conformance. So prevention cost and appraisal cost is the cost of conformance. This is the money spent during the project to avoid failures. On the other hand, we have the cost of non-conformance, which we call cost of poor quality. This is internal failure cost and external failure cost. Internal failure is the faulty product has been caught by quality control. Still, we will have to do some rework and spend some money, or we may have to scrap it and lose some money. So that way, this is my internal failure cause. But what if the mistake was not caught by the quality control and the product has gone to the market? Then we may have the warranty issues, the liabilities, and we may lose business also, which is also impacting on our cost. So internal and external failure cost put together is called cost of poor quality or cost of non-conformance. This is the money spent during and after the project because of failures. Satisfied, ji? Uh,
सर ये जो एक्सटर्नल फेलियर कॉस्ट है
हाँ जी,
ये प्रोजेक्ट स्कोप से फिर बाहर चली जाती है चीज, राइट? जब एक चीज डिलीवर हो जाए उसके बाद कोई चीज,
बिल्कुल 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 बाहर चली जाती है। मेरा मतलब है उसी को तो काउंटर करने के लिए हम यहाँ पे ये प्रिवेंशन की कॉस्ट बढ़ा रहे हैं, वो रिड्यूस हो जाएगा ना, उसका चांसेस ऑफ एक्सटर्नल फेलियर एंड इंटरनल फेलियर विल रिड्यूस इफ वी स्पेंड मोर मनी इन कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड क्वालिटी। अगर मैं प्रिवेंशन कॉस्ट को बढ़ा दूं, अप्रेजल कॉस्ट को बढ़ा दूं, तो काफी हद तक मेरा कॉस्ट ऑफ नॉन कंफॉर्मेंस कम हो जाएगा। Say I had 200 inspectors checking the quality of the product. Now, because of increasing the cost of conformance, my errors are so less that only 2 inspectors can do the job. How much I have reduced? Right. Then we have several tools which use in quality management, like cause and effect diagram. Cause and effect diagram is used at many places. This is used in risk also. This is used here also and many other places. This is called Ishikawa diagram also, because this will trace back the cause. So this is very interesting tool, because when quality control finds a fault, that fault is intimated, or that reading or that data is communicated back to quality assurance or the managed quality. And managed quality then hunts down from this effect the cause. And when it finds the cause, then it is in a position to correct that process, as if this mistake cannot occur in future. This is a cause and effect thing. This is called a Ishikawa diagram or cause effect diagram, and some people call it fishbone diagram as well. So at the end is the major defect, and here we have various reasons for this defect. I mean various categories of reasons. Say the thing you have delivered is not working properly. Is it due to the material? Is it due to the method? It is due to the machine, time, energy, measurement, personnel, or the environment. So you home on to whichever is most appropriate. Maybe this is the problem with the machine. Then you dig down into the machine. Which part of the machine is causing that problem? This part, that part, that part, or that part. So when you home on to that specific part, then you further home on to what specific problem it is causing. And ultimately, you will be able to reach that place which is the root cause. And if you can fix that, whole of the system will be improved. Then we have flowchart. Flowchart we use in our daily life. In flowcharts, we have boxes for our processes and these diamonds for our decisions. So we have defined how the work goes on in our organization this man does this and gives it to the next man, and he inspects it, and if it is correct, gives it to the third man, or it sends it back if it is not correct, so on and so forth. So this kind of process can be postmortem, and we can find problems in each area one after the other. So we can check the quality of each and every item, each and every process. So once we can review the flow charts, probably we can reach to the problem. Then we have check sheets. Check sheets where we have got of a list of things to be checked. This is normally used in quality control. Uh, we give a checklist, a check sheet to the quality control and ask them to check these items. So they will just tick, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. So this is kind of a check sheet created from the previous experience. Histogram. Histogram is kind of this kind of a diagram. The bar charts, the perpendicular bar chart, and how does it get created? For example, I have uh, an office or a function, and in this function I have got a number of errors. I will classify these errors that there were 20 problems due to 20 times it was the system error, 3 times it was the problem with the decision making, and 50 times it was the problem due to wrong direction, and so on and so forth. So I can create perpendicular bars with histogram which will show me how many times which category has occurred. This is called a histogram. This will apparently show which is the biggest problem for me, which is occurring most of the time. So if the rejection is what is the highest rate of rejection? The highest rate of rejection probably in this case is process documentation. 30 cases has been identified. 30 errors have been identified. So this is by itself a tool, but an associated tool is called Pareto diagram. Pareto diagram is nothing but the same histogram is ordered from highest to lowest. The 30 items which was the most, that category I have written first, then the next, and then the next, and then the next. That way I have got them all lined up from high to low, from left to right. This histogram is called Pareto diagram. And the theory behind it, Pareto principle, is that 80% of problems are caused by 20% of people. Right? So 80% of defects are due to 20% of causes. So if I can remove the defect which has occurred the maximum times, a major chunk of the problem is over. So if I can address process documentation in this case, there are total of 74 defects. 30 defects will be eradicated just by simply addressing process documentation. So by spending minimum money, I am getting maximum advantage. What if I started from the other side? I would have only corrected, maybe spending the same money, I may have only corrected 3 items. Now we are getting maximum benefit out of it. So if I have addressed this problem, then I will go to the second biggest one, that is insufficient time, which has 22 occurrences. If I reduce both of these, 52 rejections have been removed out of 74, which is a huge figure, almost 80% of the whole. So 20% problems, 20% items or categories are basically taking care of 80% of problems. Then we have control charts. Control chart is the center line. The center line shows the specification. Say I said this wall should be 4 feet high. So this is the upper limit of the wall. The center line is this center line is from ground up it is 4 feet. But how much more or how much less can be acceptable to the customer? Is it all right if I can make this wall 2 inches short or 3 inches short, or I overdo by making it 3 inches higher? Probably not. So what is the upper control limit? What is okay with the customer? Maybe he tells me that if it is 0.1 inch over or below, I will accept it. So that is what he has defined. Or say for ease of this diagram, I would say 0.03, for example, plus minus 0.03. So 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. 0.03 is the limit upside and minus 0.03 is the limit bottom side. So I cannot construct a wall and get it approved until and unless it is remaining within this limit. So this is called the control chart. And all my readings, all the products I'm creating must be within the upper and lower limit, otherwise they will be rejected. And even the points formed here and the graph forming here shows the variation in the products within the range. This variation is very interesting because this can guide me to certain decisions I can take even before an error has occurred. And the simple rule is the rule of 7. Rule of 7. Rule of 7 is if there are 7 readings, either continuous 7 readings, either on the negative side or on the positive side, there is a problem. Just imagine there are 7 readings all going here on the positive side. What does that determine? That determines that your workmanship's inclination is towards the positive tolerance. And if they don't take care, very soon they will exceed the positive tolerance. Similarly, if all the points are in the negative region, then we are going to be exceeding the negative region. So we have to keep our readings, our acceptance range within the tolerance, and we must observe these readings as if we can find out things before they occur.
सर अगर अपर लिमिट पे ऊपर 5 हो नीचे 6 हो तो इट इज विद इन द एक्सेप्टेबल रेंज.
क्या ऊपर 5 नीचे 6 क्या मतलब है?
ये जो ट्रेंड है आपने कहा है ना कि अगर आई मीन ये जो ग्राफ है अगर ऊपर कंट्रोल लिमिट में अगर इस तरह की एबनॉर्मलिटी 7 टाइम्स आए तो इट मीन समथिंग इज रॉन्ग, राइट?
समथिंग कह रहा हूँ तो आउट हो गया ना. जो चीज इस लिमिट से बाहर होगी वो तो आउट है. मिसाल के तौर पे मैं वही बात फिर करता हूँ. 3 मीटर वॉल यहां पर है. दिस इज 3 मीटर. सेंटर लाइन इज 3 मीटर एंड यू आर अलाउइंग 0.01 या मिलीमीटर में कर ले 3 मिलीमीटर. वो कहता है जी कि आप ऊपर चले जाएं या नीचे चले जाएं, इट इज एक्सेप्टेबल टू मी. अगर 3 मिलीमीटर से आप ज्यादा ऊपर गए या 3 मिलीमीटर से कम नीचे गए तो दोनों सूरतों में आपकी जो वॉल है वो रिजेक्ट हो जाएगी. बात समझ आई?
ठीक है सर. सर विद इन द ब्रैकेट ऑफ अपर कंट्रोल लिमिट और लोअर कंट्रोल लिमिट
हाँ जी,
अगर कोई चीज हो तो वो ठीक है.
वो ठीक है, वो ठीक है, वो एक्सेप्टेबल है. लेकिन मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि उसके रेंज के अंदर भी अगर कोई पैटर्न बनता है तो मैं उससे भी डिड्यूस कर सकता हूं कि प्रॉब्लम आने वाली है. ये बात समझ आई?
सर वो कैसे आई मीन
आप ये देखें ना, फर्ज करें ये एक पॉइंट आ रहा है, फिर ये 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 आ रहा है, क्या लग रहा है आपको कहाँ जा रहा है ये? मेरे पॉइंट नजर आ रहे हैं आपको? ये 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 कहाँ जा रहा है सारा सिस्टम? इंक्लिनेशन नीचे की तरफ जा रही है ना, तो
यस सर,
अल्टीमेटली हो
नीचे की
सकता
तरफ
है एक
जा
दो
रही है
पॉइंट के
लोअर।
बाद वो नीचे निकल जाए। तो मेरे वर्कमैनशिप की इंक्लिनेशन जो है, या मेरी मशीन की जो क्या कहते हैं ट्यूनिंग हुई है, या जो अलाइनमेंट है उसकी, वो खराब होती जा रही है, और अब वो चीज खराब होने वाली है। जो मेरा प्रोडक्ट है वो खराब आने वाला है, तो मुझे पहले ही पता चल जाएगा। गॉट इट जी?
यस सर।
ओके जी, तो ये हो गया। एक मिनट जरा, स्कैटर डायग्राम क्या होता है जी, किसी को पता है? व्हाट इज अ स्कैटर डायग्राम? इधर तो हमें टूल्स का ही पता होना चाहिए ना ज्यादातर। व्हाट इज अ स्कैटर डायग्राम? ये अभी किसी ने एक क्वेश्चन आया हुआ था। जी प्लीज हेल्प मी एनीवन। जी फैसल, जी फैसल।
तो स्कैटर डायग्राम में अगर हमारे डिफरेंट रीडिंग्स आ रही हैं और उनका उनकी ओवरऑल एक देख के डायरेक्शन को देख के उनको एक एवरेज निकाली जाती है, मीन निकाला जा सकता है कह सकते हैं। उसके अपर डायरेक्शन है, डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन है क्वालिटी की, उसके सेंट्रलाइज करके कोई डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हुए होते हैं पॉइंट्स, और उसको अगर हम सेंटर में कर दें तो उसकी बेस पर जो होती है वो एक स्कैटर डायग्राम।
फिर बताइएगा जरा, बात थोड़ी क्लियर नहीं हुई।
स्कैटर डायग्राम में सर जो मैं अंडरस्टैंड कर सकता हूँ वो यही है कि डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स अगर क्वालिटी मेजरमेंट कर रहे हैं और क्वालिटी में वो पॉजिटिव भी जा रही है, नेगेटिव भी जा रही है, डिफरेंट क्वालिटी की तरफ उसकी हमारी रीडिंग आ रही है, तो उनका एक एवरेज करके लेकर हम कर सकते हैं, तो वो बता देता है कि इसकी क्वालिटी इंप्रूव हो रही है, डिक्रीज हो रही है, समथिंग।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, स्कैटर डायग्राम जो है, दिस इज सिंपली जो आप बचपन में पढ़ते आए हैं। जी निकत, आप क्या कहना चाह रही हैं?
सर मेरी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसके अकॉर्डिंगली स्कैटर डायग्राम जो हम स्टैटिस्टिक्स में यूज करते हैं उसमें इट इज अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन टू वेरिएबल्स।
एग्जैक्टली।
एक इंडिपेंडेंट और एक डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल के दरमियान जो रिलेशनशिप होती है, हाउ द इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इज अफेक्टिंग द डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल आइदर
बिल्कुल
पॉजिटिवली और
बिल्कुल
नेगेटिवली, तो
बिल्कुल
उन
सही।
दोनों का जो प्लॉट होता है दैट इज एक्चुअली द स्कैटर
एग्जैक्टली।
डायग्राम।
देखिए जी, बचपन से हम एक चीज पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, एक्स वाई ग्राफ। एक साइड पे एक्स को रखें, एक साइड पे वाई को रखें, दो वेरिएबल्स के दरमियान रिलेशनशिप ढूंढे। इन दोनों का अगर एक्स को तब्दील करेंगे तो वाई भी बदलेगा। एक्स तब्दील करने से वाई की क्या वैल्यू आती है वो यहाँ प्लॉट कर देंगे। एक्स की वैल्यूज हैं, ये वाई की वैल्यूज हैं। एक्स अगर 1 होगा तो वाई 1.5 है। फर्ज करें ये पॉइंट आ गया, फिर ये पॉइंट आ गया, फिर ये पॉइंट आ गया। सो ये जो डायग्राम बनता है, वट एवर शेप इट टेक्स, दिस इज कॉल्ड अ स्कैटर डायग्राम। ठीक है जी। अब होता क्या है कि इसी स्कैटर डायग्राम में से हम पैटर्न इवॉल्व करते हैं। कभी हमें लाइन बनती हुई नजर आती है, कभी कर्व बनता हुआ नजर आता है। अगर कुछ भी ना बने तो स्कैटर ही स्कैटर रह जाता है। तो दिस इज कॉल्ड अ स्कैटर डायग्राम। सो दिस इज नेम फॉर आवर ट्रेडिशनल एक्स वाई ग्राफ। ठीक है जी। जी जनाब, आज रिस्पॉन्स काफी पुअर है।
सर बस आज रोजा लगा है काफी।
वो तो लग चुका ना, अभी तो रात का वक्त है। बेंच मार्किंग बताएं जी कोई कि क्या चीज है?
सर कोई आप स्टैंडर्ड अगर सेट करते हैं अपने, यानी जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस है, मतलब नॉर्मल टर्म में जो आपको लगता है कि ये एक केस है, इसको अगर आप अपना बनाते हैं कि इस लेवल तक अगर आता है तो ये हमारी मिनिमम रेंज है क्वालिटी की या प्रोडक्ट को जो है ना पहुंचने की।
ओके जी, और कोई, किसी और की राय? जी जनाब।
सर इसको हेलो
जी जी।
हेलो सर, इसको एक डिफरेंट एंगल से अगर इसको देखें बेंचमार्क को, ऐसे तो कई एक्सप्लेनेशन बन सकती हैं इसकी।
हम्म
समटाइम्स प्रोजेक्ट्स में ऐसे भी होता है, कुछ इस तरह की भी प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं जिसमें आपको सर मेजर्स का या केपीआईज का अंदाजा नहीं होता
हम्म
एक्यूरेसी के हिसाब से, लेकिन आपको ये पता होता है कि फॉर एग्जांपल 2-3 जगह पे ये प्रोजेक्ट हुआ है और वो उनका सक्सेस रेट ये है, तो आप प्रोजेक्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन परस्पेक्टिव से उनको बेंचमार्क कर लेते हैं कि जब आप कंपेयर करेंगे तो ये आपका बेंचमार्क है, आप उससे कंपेयर कर सकते हैं।
जी बिल्कुल।
तो ऐसे भी सर वैसे तो, या अगर कोई एग्री कर ले कि ये इतनी फिगर आनी चाहिए या इतना आपका केपीआई होना चाहिए प्रोजेक्ट पे, वो भी बेंचमार्क हो सकता है। तो दो डिफरेंट है उसमें
देखिए,
पॉइंट
जो
ऑफ व्यू।
एक इसमें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है जो हम गलत समझते हैं, दैट इज कि बेंचमार्क इज सम स्टैंडर्ड। दिस इज नो स्टैंडर्ड। बेंचमार्क का मतलब ही ये है कि यू आर competing against your competitors, so you will match yourself against your competitors in the market. If you are a mobile manufacturing company, then other mobile manufacturing companies are your competitors. And if you want to come up with a new design, a new set, you have to do research on how and what the others are doing, and how what they are producing. Number one. उससे भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज, what the client or the customer requires. So you will conduct a survey of all your customers. Naturally बहुत बड़ा सर्वे होगा, उसका फॉर्म देंगे, और उसमें you will try to ascertain कि what are the features they want, right? So what are the functions and features they want? So naturally, say you have selected and chosen out of, after the analysis, that they want to see bigger screen, and they want to have the clearer voice, and the font should be bigger. फर्ज करें ये तीन चीजें. Once you have determined that this is what is the demand of the market, then you turn back to for benchmarking and try to benchmark yourself against your competitors who is providing the largest screen in the market, and how big our screen is, how who is providing best voice quality in the market, and where. If you want to compete, you have to beat that competitor, and you have to know who is your competitor and what is he providing, as if you can make something better than them. This is benchmarking. And wherever you do, even benchmarking can be done within an organization with other departments. It can be done
Sir,
outside the
benchmarking.
open market. जी,
Sir, benchmarking is not always against the competitor. It
always.
could be internal. It could be other factors also.
With what?
सर
With
बेंचमार्किंग जो है वो खाली कंपेटिटर के साथ तो नहीं हो सकती, इंटरनल भी हो सकती है, और इट्स नॉट ओनली कंपेटिटर,
इंटरनल भी
देयर
तो
कुड बी
कंपेटिटर
अदर
है ना,
फैक्टर्स।
इंटरनल डिपार्टमेंट भी तो कंपेटिटर है. ये किसी के साथ ही होगी ना, मतलब ये कोई स्टैंडर्ड नहीं होता. ये जो अभी आप लोगों ने कहा स्टैंडर्ड है, ये स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है कोई, और आप खुद से सेट नहीं करते.
सर 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 स्टैंडर्ड तो कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन अगर इंटरनल डिपार्टमेंट में भी हैं,
हाँ
आप प्रोसेस के थ्रू कंपैरिजन कर सकते हैं, आप डेटा का कंपैरिजन एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं, फिर
हाँ हाँ,
आप जो हैं वो बहुत सारे फैक्टर हैं, कम्युनिकेशन है, किसी भी
कंप्यूटर
उस जी सर,
कंप्यूटर
किसी
का.
भी उस पे कर सकते हैं, लेकिन असल में जो बेंच मार्किंग का जो मेन मेजरेबल है,
हाँ जी,
जिससे आप आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं, वो तो टाइम, कॉस्ट और क्वालिटी है।
ये कहां से आ गया? बेंचमार्किंग में तो इसका कोई रोल नहीं है, टाइम कॉस्ट क्वालिटी का. बेंचमार्क तो
सर
चीज
जो
ही
उसकी
है ना जी.
डायमेंशन है,
बेंचमार्क में तो आप ये कर रहे हैं, बेंचमार्क में तो आप ये कर रहे हैं कि कस्टमर क्या मांगता है या जो भी चीज आप पूरी करना चाहते हैं, जो भी आपका प्रॉब्लम है, उसके आप की पॉइंट्स को कंपेयर करते हैं कि हु इज एबल टू गिव इट बेटर देन यू, ताकि मैं उसके मुकाबले में अपने आप को कंपेयर करके उसको मैं फिर अपना, मुझे किसी ने कहा था ना स्टैंडर्ड सेट कर लेते, तो आपने अपने आप को सेट कर लिया कि मैंने इस को बीट करना है मार्केट में, इस आदमी को बीट करना है, तब मेरी क्वालिटी उतनी अच्छी हो जाएगी। तो मैं बेंचमार्किंग उसके लिए
सर वो
करता हूँ।
सर आप बेंचमार्किंग तो कर लेंगे, लेकिन आप सर उसको मेजर कैसे करेंगे? आप उस लेवल तक जाने के लिए कौन से 3 फैक्टर्स को पे वर्कआउट करके उस लेवल पे पहुंचेंगे सर? दैट इज
सर
टाइम,
आप
कॉस्ट एंड क्वालिटी।
जिस तरह मर्जी करें, इट इज नॉट द मैटर ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट, ये प्रोजेक्ट का मसला नहीं है। बेंचमार्किंग इज नॉट प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट, बेंचमार्किंग तो क्वालिटी का मसला है। तो बेंचमार्किंग के मीट्रिक्स अलग हो सकते हैं, बेशक वो कॉस्ट से रिलेटेड हो, टाइम से रिलेटेड हो, उससे मुझे कोई इतराज नहीं है, लेकिन उसके मीट्रिक्स अलग डिफाइन होंगे। मिसाल के तौर पर वॉइस क्वालिटी अपनी इंप्रूव करनी है, तो वॉइस क्वालिटी का मीट्रिक अपना होगा कि उसको पता नहीं वॉइस को किस चीज में मेजर करते हैं, ठीक है जी। तो उनके अपने मीट्रिक्स होंगे और आपने उन मीट्रिक्स के हिसाब से उसे बीट करना होगा। तो इसका स्कोप टाइम कॉस्ट से आप
सर इसकी एक
प्रोजेक्ट के हवाले
एग्जांपल,
से रिश्ता बना रहे हैं, अदरवाइज डायरेक्टली कोई नहीं बनता।
सर एक
ओके सर।
एग्जांपल दूं सर?
जी जी।
सर ये इंटरनल आपने बड़ी अच्छी एग्जांपल दी थी कि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इंटरनल डिपार्टमेंट्स में भी बेंचमार्किंग हो सकती है, बिल्कुल वैलिड है।
जी हाँ।
इसकी एग्जांपल है, फॉर एग्जांपल टेलीकम्युनिकेशन इंडस्ट्री में डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, आईटी है, लीगल है, कस्टमर केयर है, सेल्स है। तो डिफरेंट कस्टमर कंप्लेंट्स आती हैं,
हाँ
ठीक है, और जो कि मैनेजमेंट को रिपोर्टिंग प्रेजेंट होती हैं। अब सेल्स में लेट से जो सर्विस लेवल एग्रीमेंट है टू रिजॉल्व द केस, अगर कोई कस्टमर कंप्लेन है, लेट से 90% है
हम्म
उनका SLA, टेक्नोलॉजी में लेट सपोज 60% है, इसी तरह सेल्स में 75% है। तो जो हायर मैनेजमेंट है वो बेंचमार्क कर लेती है बेस्ड ऑन द एग्जिस्टिंग KPI
राइट।
के, जो है ना, कि अगर 90% है कस्टमर केयर पे, लेट्स बेंचमार्क टू 95% फॉर
यस,
इंक्रीज ऑफ 5%।
एग्जैक्टली
तो
एग्जैक्टली।
वो इंटरनल कंपटीशन इसमें इन्वॉल्व होता है,
हो जाता है,
वो करके फिर वो अप्लाई कर देते हैं कि ये ऐसे भी होता है, बल्कि यही
बिल्कुल
होता है
बिल्कुल
एक्चुअली।
बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है। तो बट वो जो हम कहते हैं ना कि वी सेट अ बेंचमार्क और स्टैंडर्ड, वो स्टैंडर्ड नहीं होता, दैट इज नॉट अ स्टैंडर्ड। आप उसी बेंचमार्क में से ढूंढते हैं, एंड इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी कि दैट इज सम कंपटीटर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दैट कुड बी अ प्रोजेक्ट। आप प्रोजेक्ट से कंपेयर कर, एनीथिंग यू कैन कंपेयर विद अनदर डिपार्टमेंट, अनदर प्रोजेक्ट और वट एवर, किसी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस के साथ, किसी भी चीज के साथ, व्हेन यू कैन कंपेयर योरसेल्फ, तो वहां पर फिर आप अपने लिए बेंचमार्क्स स्टैब्लिश करते हैं। क्लियर हो गया जी?
सर लेकिन एक थोड़ा सा मैं डिफर भी करूंगा, अगर इफ यू अलाउ मी सर, बेशक
जी
मेरी
जी
अंडरस्टैंडिंग गलत हो।
जी।
सर सम टाइम ऐसे भी होता है कि अगर न्यू डिसरप्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं
हाँ
जो
जी,
कि 100% कहीं इम्प्लीमेंटेड नहीं होती,
बिल्कुल।
लेकिन उसके स्टैंडर्ड आ चुके होते हैं,
हाँ
तो उस केस में भी आप अपना बेंचमार्क करते हो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। इसकी स्पेसिफिक एग्जांपल सर 5G है, जो कि न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी है टेलीकॉम में।
ठीक है, तो कर
अब वो
सकते हैं।
100% अपने फुल पोटेंशियल के साथ कहीं भी इम्प्लीमेंटेड नहीं है, लेकिन उसके स्टैंडर्ड काफी हद तक
बस ठीक
मेच्योर
है,
होना शुरू हो चुके हैं।
उसके हिसाब से आप
तो
कर सकते हैं।
ऑपरेटर्स, जो टेलीकॉम ऑपरेटर्स हैं, अपने आप को बेंचमार्क कर सकते हैं।
You will also see the competitors, na? Who are your competitors in 5G? What are they doing? How much they have put in the effort? कस्टमर को कब चाहिए? ये सब चीजें डाटा बन जाएगा उसी से।
राइट सर।
बेशक वो दे आर कमिंग अप विद अ स्टैंडर्ड बाय देमसेल्फ, मगर उस स्टैंडर्ड की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसे होगी? अब आपका मतलब है 4G जिस तरह होना चाहिए इस्तेमाल, क्या उसी तरह पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है, या उससे कम है या ज्यादा है, या क्या हिसाब किताब है? किसी की सर्विस ज्यादा अच्छी है, किसी की कम अच्छी है, क्या फर्क है? स्टैंडर्ड पे तो सारे पूरे हैं। इसका मतलब है इट इज समथिंग बियॉन्ड द स्टैंडर्ड। मिनिमल स्टैंडर्ड की लिमिट सारे पूरे कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें से भी कोई ज्यादा अच्छा है, कोई कम अच्छा है। फिर जनाब, द नेक्स्ट टूल इज डिजाइन ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स। दिस इज अ स्टैटिस्टिकल मेथड for identifying which factors may influence specific variables of a product or process under development or in production. Design of experiments may be used during the plan quality management process to determine the number and type of tests and their impact on cost of quality. Impact on the cost of quality पे ही डालना है. So DOE also plays a role in optimizing products or processes. Is used to reduce the sensitivity of product performance to the sources of variations caused by environmental or manufacturing differences. One important aspect of this technique is that it provides a statistical framework for systematically changing all of the important factors rather than changing the factors one at a time. Analysis of experimental data should provide the optimal conditions for the product and process, highlighting the factors that influence the result and reveal the presence of interactions and synergy among the factors. For example, automotive designers use this technique to determine which combination of suspension and tires will produce the more desirable ride characteristics at a reasonable cost. So वो change कर करके कभी कोई suspension लगा ली, कोई tire लगा लिया. So you design it by experiments and then find that this is the best option. वही बात ना. This is the best option. Statistical sampling, probably all of you must be knowing. Naturally, if you have to collect a data from a large population, it is not possible and it is not feasible and not even recommended that you collect it from everybody. You don't collect it from everybody. You collect it from a sample size. But that sample size is supposed to be representative sample size. If you want to collect data of Pakistanis, you can't collect all of it from Islamabad because Islamabad does not represent whole of the country because we have got a different way of living here than maybe in Kotadu. So what we need is that we need to have people, the sample selected from all regions and all areas. Maybe one person from every community. So maybe the size comes out to be 100 or 1,000 or something like that. But then we have to collect data from all of them and then we'll be able to have a right size and a right way of moving ahead. Statistical sampling involves choosing part of a population of interest for inspection. For example, selecting two engineering drawings at random from a list of 75. So you are selecting some of the drawings to check. Sample frequency and sizes should be determined during the plan quality management process. So the cost of quality will include the number of tests, expected scrap, etc. There is a substantial body of knowledge on statistical sampling. In some application areas, it may be necessary for the project management team to be familiar with a variety of sampling techniques to assure the sample selected represents the population of interest. But that also depends upon what kind of project you are doing. There are certain projects जो होंगे census के, probability के, तो उसमें तो आपको you need to know a lot about these things. Then there are other some additional planning tools also like brainstorming, like force field analysis, nominal group technique, quality management and control tools. So there are a lot many other things, but these all have been packaged so far. Okay, let me check if I can. Just give me a moment. अच्छा जी, आई एम back to the manage quality process. Manage quality, that is the first process. Quality management plan. In this process, we will develop all the plans for that, and वो मैं आपको दिखा भी रहा था चीजें. लेकिन the diagrams I am going to show you, I am sorry they are not the new ones, but I will be referring to the original one. As I said, that in any management plan, you would require the charter, project management plan, project documents, and enterprise management factor and organization process assets. Please ignore these first four items. You require the project management plan, you require the project document, and you always require the project charter if you are creating any management plan. So although this diagram which I am showing you is not from the current version, this is the older version, but I will just be making the corrections here as if you can understand what are the outputs. Number one, I said the inputs would be project charter, project management plan, which will include the requirement management plan, risk management plan, stakeholder engagement plan, and the scope baseline. Project documents, which will include the assumptions log, requirement documentation, requirement traceability matrix, risk register, and the stakeholder register. So these are the basic inputs. In addition to that, the enterprise environmental factors and process assets are there. Tools, again, most of the tools have been rehashed. The first tool is the expert judgment, as usually we have. Then we have data gathering. In data gathering, we will be benchmarking, we just studied. We will be brainstorming, thinking out of the box, and interviewing because we are collecting the data. Then is data analysis. In data analysis, we do the cost benefit analysis which you studied in cost, and cost of quality which I just described to you, and it is written here as well. So the order is slightly changed, the tools are a little changed, but is more in order. If you can have your PMBOK opened in front of you, you will understand how the things are. Decision making, we have got multi-criteria decision analysis. Other methods can also be used, but multi-criteria decision making is for allocating various different values to different functions and then assessing not as an average but a weighted average kind of a thing. Then how this data can be represented? This data representation, how it is done? Ji Shahriyar?
सर ये स्लाइड्स काफी स्लो मूव हो रही हैं, अभी तक डायग्राम नहीं आई हुई हूँ
नहीं, डायग्राम पे नहीं हूं मैं
और
अभी
वॉइस
इधर ही
भी
हूं.
ब्रेक हो रही है.
मैं ये एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं कि ये जो चीज आपके सामने बनी हुई है, दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट, राइट? आई एम
ये सर
ट्राइंग.
8.1 की सर
आपका
फिगर
ओरिजिनल है,
कंप्लीट नहीं शो हो रही.
पीएमबीओ के 6 एडिशन है आपके सामने.
ये सर मैं खोल लेता हूँ, एक्चुअली मैंने ओपन नहीं की हुई थी.
ओके, अगर नहीं भी खोली हुई तो मैं जो बता रहा हूँ वो चीजें आप नोट कर लीजिए, लेकिन बेसिकली उसमें आप देखेंगे तो चीजें क्लियर हो जाएंगी. तो डू नॉट बी कंफ्यूज बाय दिस. आई विल चेंज दिस डायग्राम अल्टीमेटली, बट ये मेरे से रह गया है. तो बता मैं ये रहा था कि बेसिकली द इनपुट्स आर, जैसे मैंने कहा, चार्टर, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट प्लान, प्रोजेक्ट डॉक्यूमेंट, एंटरप्राइज मैनेजमेंट फैक्टर और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्रोसेस एसेट्स. अंदर की बातें मैंने आपको बता दी कि व्हाट इज इंक्लूडेड इन द प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट प्लान and what is included in the project document. The techniques, tools and techniques are also much more ordered now. They are not haphazard like this. They are like, first is expert judgment, then is data gathering, in which benchmarking, brainstorming, and interviews are there. In data analysis, we have got cost benefit analysis and cost of quality. In decision making, we have multi-criteria analysis. In data representation, we have flowcharts, logical data models, matrix diagrams, and mind mapping. And then are the test and inspection planning, and ultimately the meetings. So there are 7 tools and techniques. And outputs are quality management plan, quality metrics. Process improvement plan has been removed. It is no more output. It is part of the quality management plan. Then we have project management plan updates, in which we will update the risk management plan and the scope baseline. Project document update will include the lessons learned register, requirement traceability matrix, risk register, and the stakeholder register. As far as the subsequent tools are concerned, probably nothing has changed. Cost of quality diagram I have already shown you. That remains the same. We have what else? I think rest everything we have discussed. There is not much to discuss here. This is the cost of quality diagram I had discussed with you. Can you see this? So we have already talked about it. We have talked about the 7 tools. We have talked about all this. Now this brings us to the next step. That is, this is the name has changed. This is now called manage quality. Manage quality. So quality assurance is now part of manage quality process, and manage quality has, just a minute. Manage quality has project management plan, because now the quality management plan has been prepared. The quality management plan is included in the project management plan, and that is going to give us the guidance for how to manage the quality. Project documents which will require is the lessons learned register, quality control, measurements as shown here, quality metrics as shown here, and risk report, which is additional, and last is the organizational process assets are here. These are the inputs. In tools, again, we have the data gathering tool. Checklist is being used for quality assurance. We'll do the checklisting of the processes, auditing of the processes. Data analysis will be done. Alternative analysis is required. Document analysis is required. Process analysis is a special tool for managing quality. And root cause analysis is also done here. Decision making, again, we have got multi-criteria decision analysis. In data representation, again, we have a number of things like affinity diagrams, cause-effect diagrams, flow charts, histograms, matrix diagrams, scatter diagrams, and all that. Audit is specifically a tool here. Design for experiments, which we just talked about, that is there, and problem solving and quality improvement methods. As a result, the outputs would be the quality reports, test and evaluation documents, change request, project management plan, and project documents. Project management plan includes the quality management plan, scope baseline, schedule baseline, cost baseline. All the 3 baselines may be updated as a result of this process. And the project documents which will change would be issue log, lessons learned register, and the risk register. Remaining, the tools are exactly the same as we stated before. Because of the repetition of tools, the same tools are being used which were planned in the planning are being used in assurance and later in control. So in assurance, what we are focusing on is what it is. It is basically an audit function. How it is done? Prepare and implement an organizational quality assurance program. So you develop a quality assurance plan and then act accordingly during the execution. Tailor a practical program to meet the requirements, and why it is done as if we can improve the quality, and especially by increasing effectiveness and efficiency of the system. So these are all the various kinds of tools. Quality audits. It is a structured independent process to determine if project activities comply with organizational and project policies, processes and procedures. So the objectives of quality audit are ideally all good and best practices being implemented, identify all non-conformity gaps and shortcomings, share good practices introduced or implemented in similar projects in the organization or in the industry, proactively offer assistance in a positive manner to improve implementation of processes. That's exactly what I said. We are responsible for continuous improvement. Highlight contribution of each audit in the lessons learned. So whatever you have learned from these, they have to be submitted in the lesson learned. Process analysis, the most important work, because this process is process analysis is only done in quality assurance. There's no other way. So processes are analyzed only here. And where does the product get analyzed? Anyone who can tell me? Where was product being analyzed? Remember in scope, when we were creating the scope statement, product analysis was a tool there. And process analysis is a tool here.
सर ये
जी 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 है यार,
सर डिलीवरेबल की अगर आप बात कर रहे हैं तो वैलिडेट स्कोप पे नहीं होता था ये
क्या नहीं होता था? प्रोसेस एनालिसिस
सर
की
आप
बात करें आप?
डिलीवरेबल वेरिफिकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं
नहीं, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रोसेस एनालिसिस. प्रोसेस एनालिसिस इज अ टूल. ठीक है जी. और ये डाटा एनालिसिस के अंदर शो किया हुआ है. सॉरी, उसमें समझ आ गया जी. प्रोसेस एनालिसिस डाटा एनालिसिस में है. डाटा एनालिसिस में वी हैव 4 थिंग्स. अल्टरनेटिव एनालिसिस वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड. डॉक्यूमेंट एनालिसिस, पुराने डॉक्यूमेंट्स को एनालाइज करना. प्रोसेस एनालिसिस, ऑल द प्रोसेसेस हाउ दे आर बीइंग फॉलोड, उनको एनालाइज करना और उनको इंप्रूव करना. एंड रूट कॉज एनालिसिस. So I am talking about process analysis here. Process analysis follows the steps outlined in the process improvement plan to identify needed improvement. This analysis also examines problems experienced, constraints experienced, and non-value added activities identified during process operation. Process analysis includes root cause analysis. This is what is shown here also. A specific technique used to identify a problem, discover the underlying causes that lead to it, and develop preventive actions. So this is the function of process analysis. My question was, where is the product analysis used? Remember, वो भी एक ही जगह इस्तेमाल होता है. Product analysis इस्तेमाल उस वक्त होता है जब scope determine हो रहा होता है, when the scope statement is being developed. So define scope was the process, name of the process. When you are defining the scope, you are creating the scope statement. That is the time when product analysis is being done. Now, when we are doing manage quality, which is responsible for quality assurance also, which is responsible for continuous improvement also, process analysis is a tool for analyzing the processes and putting them right, improving them. Did you get it? Then last process here is the quality control. Okay, again, I will not follow this. I will follow the 6th edition. In quality control, again, we have got project management plan. And what are the ingredients? Well, quality management plan is the ingredient which I am following, because my guideline for manage quality and quality control is coming from quality management plan. Then I have project documents which I received, that include lessons learned register, quality metrics, how the quality should be measured, and test and evaluation documents which were created by manage quality. Test and evaluation documents were created by managed quality in the previous step. Now we are going to use them. Any approved change requests. You see, perform integrated change control when approves any change request. All the approved change requests definitely go to execution, but they also go through the quality control check. So these approved change requests are to be processed and they have to be verified. Then we have got deliverables. That is naturally the most important work is dealing with the deliverable. A deliverable is to be inspected here, and as a result, it will go out as a verified deliverable. Work performance data will be received here also, and that work performance data will be processed and will be going out as work performance information. And enterprise environmental factor and organization processes are going to be there. In tools and techniques, just ignore whatever is written here. We have got data gathering. We'll be using checklist, check sheets, statistical sampling, and questionnaires and surveys. This is for data gathering purposes during quality control. Data analysis, we'll be doing the performance reviews and root cause analysis. Then we will be carrying out the inspection itself. Inspection, here it is written also. The inspection. Then testing product evaluations. According to what? Remember, I said that we will be receiving from managed quality test and evaluation documents. In light of those test and evaluation documents, we have a tool here, testing product evaluations, that we will do. The data representations would be cause and effect diagram will be here, control chart, histogram, and scatter diagram. We know of all these tools, but they are just organized in a better fashion in 6th edition now. And the last tool is meetings. The output is the quality control measurements as shown here. The deliverable which has been verified deliverables are going out of it. Work performance information is going out of it, which is being processed. The work performance data has been processed into work performance information. Any change request going out of it. Project management plan is being updated. The quality management plan gets updated. Project documents are being updated, which includes issue log, lesson learned register, risk register, and naturally the test and evaluation documents which have been updated now. So these are the outputs from here. I'm sorry for these two old diagrams, and the rest everything is okay. We have already talked about all these items. Same diagrams. Okay, look at this diagram. This will give you a little picture about the statistics. Normally, normal distribution, we have 3 deviations on the right and 3 deviations on the left. We have discussed this, that the maximum number of people, what they are saying, that is the most likely response. We have optimistic and pessimistic side, +3 and -3. What I am trying to show here is the distance between +1 and -1 gives us the accuracy. If I only take that much portion, that will give me an accuracy of 68.26%. If I extend my view to +-2, that will give me an accuracy of 95.46. And if I go even beyond to +3 -3, that will give me an accuracy of 99.73 or 74. These are 3 sigma. 2 standard deviations, 1 sigma. 4 standard deviations, meaning 2 + 2 - 2 sigma. And 3 + 3 - is 6 standard deviations. This is 99.73. And beyond that is 4 sigma, 5 sigma, and 6 sigma, as I said, is 3.4 defects in a million. So this brings us to the end of quality. Right, in the next 1 hour, we'll be talking about resource management. And resource management is not that complicated as well. If you are paying attention, you will be able to understand it very easily. It includes all kind of resources, human resource and other resources, which include machines, tools, raw material, anything you will be requiring on your project would be your resources. So, as far as the live resources are concerned, like humans, they you have to deal with them slightly differently, because it is not enough to just make them available for a job. You have to somehow convince them to work, motivate them to work. But as far as the machines are concerned, or equipment, or raw material is concerned, you don't have to motivate them. They are lifeless, and howsoever you want to use them, you will use them. Therefore, they just have to be accounted for. Whereas humans have to be dealt with in execution, and somebody has to be watching over them, getting the job done, and all that. Therefore, this resource is slightly different. Okay, can you see this? Project resource management includes the processes to identify, acquire, and manage the resources needed for the successful completion of the project. These processes help ensure that the right resources will be available to the project manager and project team at the right time and place. This is very important, that you use the right resources at the right time. If I have to use a resource 3 months later and I acquire that resource right now, then I have to take care of that resource. I have to, even if it is a lifeless thing, I have to even arrange for its storage, and then maybe I have to put a guard on it and keep it under lock and key, take care of it, and maybe if it is something which can be can be spoiled over time, I have to also take care of that thing. So it is always good to have the resources available when we require them. This philosophy is called just in time. Just in time means that you do not want the things to be acquired much earlier. You just want that much items, that much resources which are required, which are needed at one specific time. Those resources should be available at that time. I know and I understand sometimes it is cheaper to buy some items in bulk, because maybe they are much cheaper, maybe there is a sale, maybe there are other reasons. But please weigh your decision against this, that how much are you going to be spending on maintaining those resources. If you are spending more than what the expected cost would be in future, then probably you should not be going for this decision. This is a bad decision. So just in time is a very good philosophy, and no matter you are dealing with the human resources or the other resources, all resources must be made available when required. So you plan backwards from the date those resources are required on for doing a job. So you start the acquisition process that much time earlier than the job starts. So we have here a number of processes. First of all, in planning we have plan resource management. We also estimate the activity resources, and this estimation is part of those two estimations we have already done, the duration estimate and the cost estimate. So actually all of these three estimates are done together. So this is in planning. You are estimating the resources, and based on that the durations are calculated, and then the cost is being calculated. So estimate activity resources is immediately after the resource management plan has been acquired. And what does the resource management plan does? It defines how to estimate, acquire, manage, and utilize physical resources and the team resources. So in activity resources, this is the process of estimating team resources and the type and quantities of materials, equipment, and supplies necessary to perform project work. Now in execution, we have got three processes. First is the acquire resources, then develop team, and then manage team. As far as acquire resources are concerned, this is to deal with all kinds of resources, whether it is a human resource or any other kind of resource. They all will be acquired during execution, and best, as I said before, would be when they are required, just in time. That is the best strategy you can come up with. But again, I still leave option to you, that if you really think that this thing is going to be cheaper if I buy it earlier, and still you can prove it, then you may go for it. So here, team members, facilities, equipment, material, supplies, and other resources necessary to complete the project, they are being acquired throughout the life of the project. During the execution, when and where they are required, they are procured. Then comes the human resources. Now, as far as the non-living resources are concerned, we don't need to do anything with them during the execution except for using them. And when we use them, it is a matter of inventory, that this much cement and this much has been used and this much has been placed there and all that. So that is more of an inventory. But as far as humans are concerned, this is not an inventory. We have to deal with them. We have to assign them job. We have to train them. So first, the team which has been provided to you, you have to develop the team. You have to give some time uh, in which you can improve their competencies if they are lacking. Develop some team member interaction amongst themselves as a group, how well they perform, and overall team environment must be provided as if to enhance the project performance. You see, when you get a team together, there is a tendency of abrasion. People are actually not in habit of working with each other because they don't know each other. So when you develop this team, you have to provide them an opportunity to work closely together as in the project environment in future. So therefore, if there are any differences, they must resolve it there, and they must establish some cohesion. So you must give some time for team to develop also. Only then can you put them on job. So if the team is to be put on job on 1st December, maybe you have to hire them 3 months earlier and put them on work environment maybe 2 weeks earlier than the work starts. And in these 2 weeks, they will actually be going through the forming, storming, norming stages. What are these stages? Every team goes through these 5 stages. First of all, when the team is formed, it is called forming. Then they fight. That is called storming. Then they normalize. That is called norming. And after these 3 stages, they start performing. So the moment they are ready to perform, they should be working on the actual work of the project. And once the job is completed, the 5th stage is adjourning. So they are laid off. So managed team is responsible for performing and adjourning, whereas developed team is responsible for developing the team. And acquire, we are forming the team. So the storming and norming is happening in developed team, and performing is and adjourning is happening in managing team. And last but not the least, we'll then be in monitoring and control, we'll control all the resources. When I say all the resources, that is all the physical resources. Physical resources means non-living resources. Because as far as the living resources are concerned, we have managed them during the execution, and when their job is done, they have been laid off. They have left the project. So whatever reports were written for the performance has been done already. So dealing with people is not the responsibility of control. Control resources only deals with the inventory of the items. Influencing the project team, the project manager needs to be aware of and influence human resource factors that may impact the project. And what can they be? The team environment. What kind of team environment is provided to them? Where they are located, geographic locations, communication, how do they communicate, any internal and external politics, cultural issues, organizational uniqueness, or any other factors. On top of that, the professional and ethical behavior that comes from the organization plays a very important role. So these are the 6 processes which I just talked about. First of all, the key concepts. The project team consists of individuals with assigned roles and responsibilities who work collectively to achieve a shared project goal. Project manager should invest suitable effort in acquiring, managing, motivating, and empowering the project team. Although specific roles and responsibilities of the project team are assigned, the involvement of all team members in project planning and decision making is beneficial. Participation of team members during planning adds their expertise to the process and strengthens their commitment to the project. Project manager should be both a leader and a manager of the project team. In addition to project management activities such as initiating, planning, execution, monitoring, control, and closing, the various project phases, the project manager is responsible for the team formation. As an effective group, the project manager should be aware of different aspects of the team, which I just described to you. As far as physical resources are concerned, allocating and using physical resources like man, machine, etc., needed for not man but machine and equipment, etc., needed for successful completion of the project in an efficient and effective way. In order to do that, organizations have data on resource demands now and in the reasonable future, resource configuration that will be required to meet those demands and the supply of resources. So failing to manage and control resources efficiently is a source of risk for successful project completion. Like failing to secure critical equipment or infrastructure. If you delay some equipment, then probably the activity will be delayed. So you have to ensure that such failures do not occur. Ordering low quality material will also damage your quality of the product. Keeping too much inventory, again, I have already highlighted this point that we do not want to keep too much inventory. Yes, if appropriate, some inventory can be kept, but then you must have a proper justification for that. So what are the trends nowadays in resource management? First of all, the resource management methods are changing. We are already talking about just-in-time, Kaizen, total productive maintenance, theory of constraint, and all these things, all the different methods are impacting on it. So how and when can we most effectively and efficiently use these resources? This is the main flow. As far as human resources are concerned, emotional intelligence is very important for the project manager. So he must be able to improve inbound self-management and self-awareness and outbound relationship management competencies. Project team that succeed in developing team EI are becoming an emotionally competent group are more effective. There is a reduction in staff turnover. Then the last thing is the self-organizing teams. That is usually we find in Agile That team is not being managed by anyone, they manage themselves and they assign the job to themselves. And the project manager plays the role of a servant leader and he just empowers them. So this is a new trend. Virtual teams, again, this is very common nowadays because people are working from different geographic locations. As we are conducting this training online, people are having conferences, teleconferences, video conferences online, and a lot many things which could have been done face to face are being done in virtual environment. So those facilities should be available. Training considerations, um, what to pick out of these processes and what not. You must consider certain factors. Diversity. What is the diversity background of the team? Physical location. Where are they located? Are they face to face, or are they, virtually interacting with each other? Some industry specific resources. What specific resources are needed in the industry? Acquisition of team members. How it will be done, and are these team resources full time or part time? Management of team. How is team development managed for the project? Are there organizational tools to manage team, or the project manager is himself doing it? Are there team members who have special needs? Will the team need special training in managing diversity? As it was mentioned earlier, life cycle approaches. What is the life cycle approach that will be used on this project? Then some related considerations for agile and adaptive environment. Projects with a high variability benefit from team structures that maximize focus and collaboration, such as self-organizing teams with generalizing specialists. So, team is expert. Team decides what they do and what they don't do. And the project manager is just a generalized specialist and he is just facilitating them. Collaboration is intended to boost productivity and facilitate innovative problem solving. Collaborative teams may facilitate accelerated integration of distinct work activities. The first process, resource management, as we have already defined it, you see the pattern is the same for any management plan: project charter, project management plan, project documents, enterprise normal factors, and organizational process assets. But the ingredients of project management plan and project documents may differ. In here, project management plan must include the quality management plan and the scope baseline. Project documents, and why? Because we are creating the resource management plan. Project documents must include the schedule, requirement documents, risk register, and stakeholder register. And we use the expert judgment and meetings. And what special tools we are using here? Data representation can be done through hierarchical charts, like who is on top, who is working under him, and so on and so forth. Then responsibility assignment matrix, which I had shown you earlier, the table in which who is assigned to what work. And text-oriented formats could also be used, like job description form and things like that. Organizational theory could be a very important tool in establishing this resource management. As a result, we will be developing the resource management plan and a team charter. Now, this is a different term used for the first time. We have been talking about the project charter or the phase charter, but team charter is something different. Project documents which are updated here is the assumption log and the risk register. We know about all these terms, so let's move on to something we don't know. Organization charts and position descriptions. Various formats exist to document team members' roles and responsibilities. There could be a hierarchical chart like organizational chart, and a matrix-based chart like the responsibility assignment matrix, and text-oriented forms like the job description and job specification, etc. So this is how it may look like. Organization chart is like a hierarchical structure. Responsibility assignment matrix could be a matrix in Excel or whatever, where the names of people are written on one side and the work they need to do is written on the other side. And on the junction of these 2 points, it is the role of that person is marked. This is an example of a RASI chart. Responsibility assignment matrix could be shown in more detail if this form, we could have said that for create charter this man is required, for collect requirement this and this man is required. So if we just tick them, that is called responsibility assignment matrix. But then in this chart, it is even better than a responsibility assignment matrix, because there we are only assigning the responsibility. Here we are also assigning the role of each person. On create charter, and is accountable for the charter. So who is actually accountable for it? And Ben is responsible for creating it. Carlos, Dina, and Ed have to be, informed about it. I stands for inform. C stands for consult. For collect requirements, Anne has to be informed. Ben is accountable. Carlos is responsible, and Dina and Ed are to be consulted. To be consulted means that this is a two-way traffic. We seek their opinion, and their opinion, they will give their opinion. But we are not bound to follow their opinion. They are just like consultant. They advise us what to do and how to do, and we will do whatever we feel like. So it is a responsibility of the person responsible to take the decision, and who is accountable for that decision is the person who is shown as accountable. So in this way, we can, in the RASI chart, we can define these roles on the matrix along with the responsibilities. So this is also called roles and responsibility matrix. So it is RASI.
सर एक क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं अगर इजाजत हो?
जी क्यों नहीं.
अच्छा सर, यहाँ पे एक तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का फैक्टर आ रहा है और फिर अकाउंटेबिलिटी का आ रहा है. रिस्पॉन्सिबल इज टू डेवलप
जी
दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग, और फिर अकाउंटेबल दूसरा बंदा है बिकॉज वो उसको कंडक्ट कर रहा होगा उस एक्शन को, या वो मेक श्योर करेगा ये जो चीज है इम्प्लीमेंट हो रही है, फिर वो अकाउंटेबल होगा उसका, क्योंकि एक बंदा बना रहा है वो अकाउंटेबल नहीं है.
जी मैं बताता हूँ.
वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल है टू जस्ट मेक इट.
Responsibility means that the person has been made responsible for day-to-day running of that job. Who is ordering this job is the person who is accountable. So the overall accountability lies with that person, and he has assigned someone to do that job. So that person who has been assigned, this is the project manager, and the person who has assigned is the sponsor or the project director. So project director is accountable for the whole project, and he has assigned this project to the project manager. Project manager is responsible for day-to-day running of this project, and he can use his team to help him with that. I understand.
Thank you, sir.
I understand that we usually think that the person who is responsible, he is also accountable. I do not disagree with that. But the person who is responsible may not be, big enough to take the load of the whole loss. This is a $3 billion project, and a project manager who is being given a salary of say 60,000 rupees, and due to his fault, if this project is completely collapsed, how are you going to get money out of him? This person can't even dream of those millions and billions of dollars. So you can't kill him, you can't do anything about it. So he was responsible and he did a mistake. The question is, what is the person accountable doing at that time? Why he did not check and see what is happening? So that is why accountability is kept at a higher level and responsibility is separate. But still, I would say that we delegate some of our accountabilities downwards and we take on some of the responsibilities. Like project manager may be held accountable for a small part of what he did. So some of the accountability, maybe 10% of the accountability or 5% of the accountability may have been given to Ben, but the main accountability is with the sponsor. Similarly, there are some few jobs which even project director has to do about the project, like approving changes and doing this and that, getting permission. So maybe he is carrying a load of 1 to 5% of responsibility, whereas the maximum responsibility is carried by the project manager. So for every activity, there might be a different person accountable and a different person responsible. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Very well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Then networking is also a wonderful tool, is a formal and informal interaction with others in an organization, industry, or professional environment. It is a constructive way to understand political and interpersonal factors that will impact. In short, I would say there is nothing better than networking. If you interact with your colleagues and professionals in a non-official setting, I don't mean that from the same office. Say there is a Project Management Institute chapter here in Islamabad, and when they call on meetings, people from all walks of life join hands there, and there you can learn a lot about their experiences and things. So networking is very important for your learning and for your future enhancement as well. Okay, human resource management plan. My human resource, the resource management plan, sorry. Okay, resource management plan should include the roles, the various roles, responsibilities, various authorities, various competencies, project organizational chart, staffing management plan, meaning who is to be acquired or hired at what time. So staffing management plan would include the staff acquisition, resource calendars, staff release plan, training needs, recognition rewards, compliances, safety. So all such like details are to be included in the resource plan. I hope those of you who have studied time management, you remember what I'm doing here. This is called resource histogram, which is created when you load your resources onto your schedule or Gantt chart and then calculate how many resources will be required at any one point in time. And the demand of resources in accordance with that is plotted like a histogram, and this histogram shows uneven heights. So at some times you need more resources, sometimes you need less resources. So there is a problem that to manage these resources, how to control and manage this. This is due to which we may have to stabilize the maximum number of resources which can be made available. Secondly, sometimes there is a market limitation that there are not more than a specific number of people available in market, and that becomes a constraint. And therefore, we have to reduce the number of people. And if we reduce the number of people, the project length will increase. So therefore, the impact will be directly on the critical path. Okay. Then we have got reward systems. In reward systems, there are certain extrinsic rewards and other intrinsic rewards. Extrinsic rewards are those which are apparently visible to others. You get a salary for doing your job. People know it, that you get a salary. You have certain work conditions, special work conditions, the AC in your room and a corner office and all that. These are the work conditions provided to you. And you have a rank or a position or a status. So these are all visible. But there are other intrinsic kind of rewards which may not be visible to others. Maybe you feel enriched, you feel you have achieved something. You feel responsible. That also motivates you. And sometimes you feel yourself excelling in your profession, advancement, sense of advancement. So these are intrinsic, these are your senses. These are different kinds of rewards. Rewards, whatever they are, must be given timely and in public. This is very important. You should not delay a reward, because if you delay a reward, the effect is nullified. The motivation goes nose down. And secondly, when you are rewarding someone, please reward it in front of everyone, in public. Let that person have a moment of his own to cherish. But remember, whenever you are coercing somebody or, telling somebody not to do something wrong, you should not do it in public. Always do that in private. We have got many management styles. Autocratic style has its own strengths and weaknesses. Is the most famous and oldest method ever used. Autocratic, in which one person is the boss and he holds all the cards. He is the one who decides everything and everyone else follows his decisions. So here the strength is, this is for mature, well-defined projects where we know that nothing can go wrong and this man can control it. A single man can control it. Because there is only one man controlling it, the decision making is quick. But the weakness is, the people are just like slaves. There is no staff buy-in, and therefore there might be low morale. And because the boss is the boss and he knows whatever he wants he can do, so there is a possibility of arbitrary decision making, and he will make some obnoxious decisions and stick to them. Then there is second extreme, that is the laissez-faire, in which nobody is the boss and all the team is so well educated, so well formed, know their job. This is for innovative and research related projects where maybe a team of doctors, PhD doctors, is put together to work. So here, this is the strength is, if you want to do something new which has never been done before, some research, some innovation, probably this style is good. And then each of these people are self-motivated. They know their job, they're educated, they have a high morale, they can do very well. But the weakness is, there is a confusion about the objectives of the project, because everyone has its own mind and everyone wants to drag it into his own favor. And then, because there are so many people with so great minds, there is an inability to make decisions. Maybe sometimes there is a conflict, and sometimes even they respect too much each other too much, and therefore their decisions are being influenced by others. You might have heard about Maslow's theory. This is like a pyramid in which the lowest level is the biological maintenance, which is physiological needs, khana pina ye wo. Once you have had that, only then you can move on to the next level, and that is, you need safety, security, protection, stability. If you have that, then you have social needs, and these are need for love, affection, sense of belonging, etc. These are the lower order needs. If you have all these needs fulfilled, Then you have a need for self-esteem, need for respect. Somebody should respect you, prestige, recognition, sense of competence. And once you have achieved that, the last and the highest level is the self-actualization, where you do not target on achieving something for yourself. You want to give away to your profession or the others what you have learned. So this is normally the selfless kind of a stage, which is at the top of the tier. So generally speaking, according to Maslow, these are the five uh, levels of need theory. McGregor, another theorist, he came up with two theories, theory X and theory Y. And in theory X, he says people are uh, inherently lazy, they don't want to work, and they have to be forced to work, and they have to be controlled autocratically. And if you don't look at them, they will they will not work. He also gave another theory, and that was that workers are viewed as willing and eager to accept responsibility. Work comes naturally to human beings, and managers are just there to create a good environment that aids the worker to achieve their goals. So there is a difference between X and Y, rather complete difference, 180-degree difference. But the type of people you deal with are actually in between these two, X to Y. So what applies to you? One thing we learn from this theory Y, is the role of motivation. So motivation is important, and naturally we have to change the style of leading. There was another person by the name of Herzberg. He gave us the motivational theory, Herzberg motivation theory. He mixed the two things, the two portions, Maslow's theory and McGregor's theory. He said that the lower order needs are just the hygiene needs. If you do not give pay to a person or good working conditions and all, that person will not work. So poor hygiene factors negatively impact the motivation, but this does not guarantee that you will outperform. If you fulfill all the hygiene needs, the lower order needs, that person still may not work. Now, to make him work further extraordinarily, we have to provide him motivators. That is a higher order need. Positive motivations lead to achievement and self-actualization. Workers have a sense of personal growth and responsibility. So you have to motivate them to that level. And remember, everybody needs to be motivated in a different way. For one person, you can motivate him by giving a monetary reward. Another person, you can give him the recognition. So you have to judge what kind of motivation every person requires. Then comes the acquire project team. In acquire project team, we project team are the resources. The key benefit is outlining and guiding the team selection and responsibility. And once you have acquired the team, next is the estimate activity resources. Project management plan is required along with naturally the ingredients are resource management plan and the scope baseline. Documents, activity attributes, list and logs, cost estimates, resource calendars, and risk register, and naturally the environment factors and organization process assets. Tools we need to use here. Naturally, you have studied the cost and time already, so you understand that what is bottom up, what is analogous, what is parametric. So these are the same tools we were using for costing and time management. Bottom up is detailed estimation from down up. Analogous is keeping a analogy from a previous project. So this many resources were required for constructing a wall. So I should also be using approximately these many resources. Parametering estimating. This work could be done by 2 people. So how many people do I need? Data analysis, alternatives analysis, where I'll dig out all the possible alternatives and decide the best one. Then we use the project management information system and meetings. Ultimately, resource requirements will be finalized and the basis of estimate, as in the case of cost and time also, we created the estimate and then the basis for estimate was also given. And that provides all the logic, reasoning and proof of how the requirements had been calculated. Then resource breakdown structure is just like organizational breakdown structure, but you put them into some categorization. For example, I divide my resources in human resources and non-living resources. In human resources, I say these are the engineers, carpenters, and masons. In non-living, I say these are machines, these are tools, these are. So in machines, either these are dozers, these are jeeps, these are what and what. So this is kind of an inventory I am making out of the resource breakdown structure. So there I can keep a track of all the record of all the things, how many dozers were there and where they are, on which project they are working and things like that. Then we acquire the resources, as I said before. Here, project management plan will include naturally the resource management plan and the procurement management plan. Cost baseline also will be included. Project documents will be required, which will include the project schedule, resource calendars, resource requirements, and the stakeholder register. Enterprise environmental factor and process assets will be needed. Decision making, multi-criteria decision analysis, as we have been doing. Negotiation is a very good tool here. Pre-assign the people before they are put on job. Let them do the similar kind of job before actual job, as if you know how well they understand it. And if you have to work in virtual teams, then get them practice on that. Physical resource assignments are done. Project team assignments are done. Resource calendars are finalized. Change request, if any, is moved to integrated change control. Project management plan is updated. Project documents are updated. And enterprise environmental factor and process assets are updated. So what are the factors here? Project manager or project management team should effectively negotiate and influence others which are in position to provide the required human resources for the team. Failure to acquire the necessary human resource for the project may affect project schedule, budget, and customer satisfaction, quality, risk, etc. Insufficient human resources or capabilities decrease the probability of success and in a worst case scenario could result in project cancellation. If the human resources are not available due to constraints such as economic factors or previous assignments to other projects, project manager or team may be required to assign alternative resources, perhaps with lower competencies, provided there is no violation of legal, regulatory, mandatory, or other specific criteria. Like, there is no child labor is not allowed. So this is not an option. Let's move on to the next. That is develop project team. Is a process of improving competencies, team member interaction, and overall team environment to enhance project performance. Key benefit of it is it results in improved teamwork, enhanced interpersonal skills and competencies, motivated employees and reduced attrition, and improved overall project performance. We have resource management plan in the project management plan. In project documents, we have lessons learned register, project schedule, team assignments, resource calendars and team charter, and enterprise environmental factors and process assets. Tools we have we have to co-locate, if possible, co-locate all the team. If there is virtual teaming, work is to be in the virtual teams, then naturally required arrangements for video conferencing or whatever should be made. Communication technology must be used if internet is available or whatever. Interpersonal team skills are very much required here because there will be conflicts amongst the team. The conflict management is to be there. They have to be influenced as a leader to get the job done. Motivations, negotiations, and team building activities. They must be recognized and rewarded for what they are doing. Training must be provided to them. Individual and team assessment should be done and meetings should be conducted. And as a result, team performance assessment is the output. Any change request due to human resource or other resources could be moved. Project and plan are updated, project documents are updated, and enterprise model vector and process assets are updated. Then 9.5 is a managed team. Managed team is the process of tracking team member performance. Now we are still in execution. In previous step, we developed the team. When we developed a team, we provided them, necessary training or whatever, and we gave them a chance to storm and norm. Storming and norming has been done. Now they understand each other, and we can put them on job. Now we have put them on job in managed team, and here they will perform and they will join. So we will have to track them and their performance and feedback and all that, resolve their issues, and key benefit is that it influences team behavior, manage conflict, and resolve issues. Project management plan, naturally resource management plan will be input, project documents, issue log, lesson learned register, project team assignments and team charter, work performance reports. Why is work performance report coming here and from where it is coming? Naturally, you should not be knowing it because we have not discussed it. We have been discussing in a lot of detail, many things, and that's why you may feel that we are rushing here. But at the same time, we have talked a lot about how the things move. So work performance report.
No, I totally understand.
Yeah. Work performance report is coming from anyone who can tell me? Work performance report is coming from G. Faisal. I think everybody is sleeping. G. Azim.
This was from monitor and control project work.
Exactly.
Monitoring and controlling project.
It is monitoring control project work. So work performance report was created. One copy was sent to managed team and one copy was sent to risk and one copy was sent to integrated change control. Team performance assessments received from the previous process, enterprise model vector and process assets are input, tools and techniques. Again, in interpersonal and team skills, we have conflict management, decision making, emotional intelligence, influencing and leadership, and project management information system is used for workflow. Ultimately, the output is the change request, which is sent to monitoring and control, integrated change control, and project management plan is updated by resource management plan, schedule and cost baselines. Project document is updated with issue log, lesson learned register, and project team assignments, and ultimately enterprise environmental factors are updated. Then is control resources. Control resources is the process of ensuring that the physical resources assigned and allocated to the project are available as planned, as well as monitor the planned versus actual utilization of resources. Remember, very important, this says only the physical resources, not the human resources. In non-living resources it's talking about. Because whatever we had to do with the living resources, we have done that in execution. Now we are in monitoring and control, and here the inventory has to be maintained. This is the total job of control resources. So we don't have to bother about human resources anymore. So project management plan does have the resource management plan, which we'll be using to control the resources. Project documents will include lot many things now: issue log, lesson learned register, physical resource assignment, project schedule, resource breakdown structure, resource requirement, and risk register, and work performance data in monitoring and control. You remember, every process gets the work performance data. And that data, after going through the data analysis, becomes the work performance information, which will be forward sent to monitor and control project work. Agreements and the organization process assets. Then in tools and techniques, we have quite a bit thorough data analysis. This is, we are analyzing the alternatives, cost benefit analysis. We are doing the performance reviews. We are doing the trend analysis. And on top of that, we are problem solving as well. In interpersonal and team skills, we are using negotiations and influencing. This is within our team. Project management information system is also required. As a result, work performance information is submitted to monitor and control project work. Change request is sent to integrated change control. Project management plan and project documents are updated. So gentlemen, this brings us to the end of resource management. I know I have rushed it a bit, but I think if we want to finish it in a day or two, then we must be fast. Any question? Easy.
सही वर्क परफॉर्मेंस रिपोर्ट आपने बताया था 3 जगहों पे जा रही है, रिस्क में कहाँ पे जा रही है?
मॉनिटर रिस्क,
मॉनिटर रिस्क में। ओके,
और ये एग्जीक्यूशन में 2 जगहों पे जा रही है। यहाँ पर नहीं, एग्जीक्यूशन में 1 जगह जा रही है, इधर इसको जा रही है, और फिर जा रही है इंटीग्रेटेड चेंज कंट्रोल को भी जा रही है,
एग्जीक्यूशन में मैनेज टीम को जा रही है,
और मॉनिटरिंग एंड कंट्रोल में इंटीग्रेटेड को जा रही है
जी,
और एक इसको जा रही है, वो रिस्क को जा रही है। एनीथिंग एल्स? Okay, if there is nothing, then let's call it a day. Thank you very much for your coming. Tomorrow come to the same meeting because the previous course has been closed. Thank you very much. Take care.